For me, Alan Wake 2 is more than just a survival horror game. I've seen a lot of people on the internet sharing their negative opinion about it, such as it's a slow, boring walking simulator, a big disappointment, 13 years for nothing, horrible, or woke, and any other harsh words you can think of when reviewing a game that they didn't enjoy. And hey, that's their opinion. I don't judge at all. Everyone have their own taste in video games. Some like it, some don't. And I can understand that. But what makes me call this game a beautifully crafted masterpiece? And why is that? Well, let's start with the positive aspects. Just to be clear, this is my opinion. I'm not claiming it to be 100% facts or that I'm always right. Opinions are personal, and you don't have to agree with what I said because you have your own perspective and opinion too. Now, I don't want to talk about the story too long because I feel like you should experiencing it yourself. And I mean by actually playing it, not just watching somebody else playing the games. You won't be able to feel it like I do. And trust me, this game is worth it, and I mean it. Now, my words aren't exactly great at convincing you guys how amazing the story is. It was, without a doubt, an incredible experience for me. The characters, the pacings, the storytellings are just spot on in every way possible. Even though it's a bit confusing to me, I'm still intrigued by it. Now, let's talk about the story itself, and I'll keep it as simple and short as I can. Alan Wake 2 takes place 13 years after the first game, with Alan still trapped in the nightmare's dark place. The dark prison has taken on Alan's appearance, becoming his doppelganger, Scratch. Scratch not only stopping Alan from escaping, but also constantly alter and manipulate reality, keeping him stuck in a never-ending loop of horror and confusion. Alan tried to escape by rewriting reality, with his writing shaping the world around him due to some kind of supernatural force that's tied to Cauldron Lake and Bright Falls. However, as Alan attempted to make change, he uncovered truth about his wife, Alice Wakes, has been taken by Scratch and torturing her life during his missing for 13 years, that making her driving to suicide. And he also realized that his doppelganger, Scratch, is still impersonating him, altering his attempt as escape the dark place, destroying Alan's own personality in the real world to make people think he is a bad person. Despite his effort, Scratch constantly edits the narrative, trapping Alan in a never-ending loop of horror and confusion. With no other options left, Alan writes a hero named Saga Anderson, an FBI agent. He hopes that she can help him break free from the dark place and stop the circle of the darkness once and for all. Meanwhile, in the real world, ritualistic murder occurred in a small town of Bright Falls near Cauldron Lake. Saga Anderson, traveling with her partner, Alice Casey, who literally looked like Max Payne, investigate the case. During the investigation, she uncovered strange events, including something like supernatural powers interfering with her work. She had some kind of gift ability for her to use, the Mind Place, which just kind of worked like a case board. Saga began to unravel the mystery of how Alan's writing changed reality and the supernatural force controlling the town itself. However, despite her efforts, the darkness continued to twitch the events, pushing her deeper into the dark place itself. When Saga finds the clicker, which Alan mentioned in a page that he believes it could undo all Scratch edits, she managed to separate Scratch from Alan. But unfortunately, Scratch is now possesses Casey. Saga is left lost in the dark place. In the midst of all this, Alan began to blame himself for the harvest caused by Scratch. As the dark evil force manipulate the events around them, Alan realized the only way to break the cycle is to let Dark Presence fully possess him, forcing Saga to confront the darkness directly herself. Throughout Saga's journey in the dark place, she managed to find the clicker and the bullets of light. She communicates with Alan through her mind place, and together they come up with a plan to destroy Scratch forever. A sacrifice must be made. With Saga's help, they extract Dark Presence from Alan's Casey, making him possess Alan's again. Saga then shoots Alan with the bullet of light, thus sacrificing him and ending whatever the Dark Presence has written. In the end, it seems like the darkness doesn't seem to fully vanish, as Saga's daughter doesn't pick up her phone when she makes a call for her, hinting that the evil dark force isn't fully gone yet. However, in the after credit scenes, Alan White revealed that her suicide was fake, and she remembered everything. She knew Alan was trapped and used her videos to trick him into thinking she's died by suicide. The game ends with Alan waking up and stating it is not a loop, it's a spiral. Basically mean that while it may seem like an endless repetitive cycle, she is in fact making progress. Unlike a loop which repeat indefinitely, a spiral eventually reach an end, implying that Alan is gradually moving towards his freedom from the darkness. And that's the whole story of the game itself. I know my words aren't doing any justice in convincing you guys how incredible the story is, and there's a lot of important parts that I didn't mention it. But to me, it is a very fun and creative experience. Although the ending itself was a bit of cliffhanger for me, or what can I say, exactly the same as Alan Wake 1, it still leaves tons of questions for the player to think about regarding the direction it's going for. I still like the ending though, and I think it's perfect on its own. But I realized after finishing the game, there's another ending once you complete the final draft, basically a new game plus, and holy crap, this is the actual ending I wanted. And I'm going to say it again, this is the real perfect ending for Alan Wake 2 for me. You can beat the living crap out of me, but I'm still and always will stand by this opinion of mine about the ending. There's also a connection between Remedy Games universe like Alan Wake and Control, maybe even Quantum Break itself, but that's a topic for another time. I've only played Alan Wake and Quantum Break, and I never tried Control before, so I don't know much about it. However, I do know that all Remedy games share something called a connected universe, which is quite fascinating to be honest. There are too many words for me to describe just how truly, and I mean truly beautiful this game is. The atmosphere, the lightning, the neon sign, the environment, the visual effects, pretty much everything about it is a work of art. It's not just a survival horror game to me, it's more than that. Especially Alan's side of the games, the map design is so goddamn gorgeous and amazing to look at. From the city to the subway, even the graffiti itself. Keep in mind the footage I recorded is on medium settings only because this game is so damn heavy spec demanding. Yet it still look great nonetheless. Literally make no difference at all. I like Saga's side too. Bright Falls is one of the highlights of it, especially the town people. The way you interact with them and get curious about what they're doing. They act and look so damn real to me. The facial model and animation and movements are unlike any other games I've seen. Yes, I'm talking to you. Remedy really nailed that part, I'm not kidding. Watery, small theme park, cultural late, I love everything about it and the art direction they went for. Not to mention, there's this one chapter that literally mind-blowing and captured everything I said. Initiation 4, We Sing. A whole freaking musical scene. It's absolutely crazy. It works so damn well, like come on. The song is catchy, the lighting is amazing, the pacing is so entertainment and fun, it's fascinating in a way I couldn't even put into words. Running around, looking at people dancing on a giant screen surrounding you, brilliant, just brilliant. How is this a boring walking simulator? I just don't get it, guys, come on. And also the countless hours I spent in photo modes. You can tell from the beginning of the intro itself. This game aged like a fine wine to me and will continue to do so in many years to come. When it's come to a game like Alan Wake, the narrative and storytellings are always the top priority, while the gameplay takes seconds. This game is definitely not for people who, should I say, don't enjoy narrative story-driven type game like this. Look, I usually care more about the gameplay. If it is bad, it's bad. But if the story is amazingly good, then I really don't mind how simple the gameplay might be. Alan Wake 2 plays a lot like the Resident Evil remake. From the gunplay to the UIs, combat, and many more. They pretty much identical. But is that a bad thing? Nah. Sure, it might look like a Resident Evil remake copy to some of you guys, but to me, it feels more like a game trying to take inspiration from other games so that it could learn, adapt, and work to find its own identity and a new vision, while setting the stage for improvement in the future entries. But there's also things that make it different from Resident Evil Remake and many other survival or psychological horror games. In this game, light is always the source of protection from the darkness. Let's talk about the flashlight. This is literally the main aspect of the game that set is apart from the other games. You can use it to banish the darkness, making enemies weaker and easier to deal with. Without it, you'll pretty die pretty quickly. Sure, you can still shoot enemies without shining the flashlight on them, but since the darkness isn't removed, they become much tankier, they can regenerate health, and harder to take down. This also causes you to lose your ammo pretty quickly. It's a fun concept because you not only have to manage your ammo, but also your battery too, making it a little bit challenging. There are two playable characters in the main story, Saga Anderson and Alan Wake himself. They each have their own campaign, their own different settings, and it's not just a copy of each other, thank God for that. It really helps keep the pacing going and make it less boring. You can switch between them whenever you like, and don't hate me, but I really have more fun playing as Alan than Saga. Cause you know, the world itself is amazing to look at. Last but not least, the mind place. During your playthrough, you'll always need to visit the mind place to progress because it is like a central key element of the story itself. For Saga, the mind place is a space where she can organize her thoughts, working through complex cases, analyze clues, and piece together the mystery she is investigating. It works like a case board in her mind. Not to mention, she can literally read people's mind by profiling them. It's like Watchdog, but instead of hacking into someone's device, you're using your own mind to hack into their. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but you get the idea. Similar to Saga, Alan also has his own mind play too. Well, sort of. It's called a blockboard. To Alan, it's like a place where he can manipulate the story and change the events within the dark place by rewriting part of the narrative to change the environment and triggers events to open a new path so that he can escape. I found this concept to be quite cool actually. It has its own unique settings and aesthetic for both Saga and Alan's, which really helped make the story feel more mystery and the puzzle a bit more fun, even though I personally don't like puzzle a lot. Like, I really hate it. Overall, the gameplay in Alan Wake 2 is solid. It's prioritized narrative first, with gameplay serving to enhance the story. While it shares similar with Resident Evil Remake, it has its own identity in a good way. If Alan Wake 3 ever come out, it will likely to have a new completely look, new identity, and less like Resident Evil Remake, and more like Alan Wake itself. Now, I do like Alan Wake 2, but video games always have some flaws behind itself. Let's talk about bugs for it, or glitch, whatever you can call it. I didn't play the game on day one, so I didn't know much about the experience, but I heard that a lot of people weren't able to finish the story due to some bugs that's preventing them from progressing further. The fact that you have to wait for a new pass to finish the story is crazy. Although Alan Wake 2 is now almost a year old and those issues have been fixed already, it's still bothering me how they can mess this up on day one. Not to mention, the decision to release the game exclusively on Epic Game only and not on Steam was a big missed opportunity for them. I'm not joking. Second is puzzle. And Jesus Christ, I don't like how the game encourages so many puzzles that literally making my head scratch. Yes, I'm probably the dumbest person to ever exist when it comes to solving puzzle in this game. I'm literally struggle to solving puzzle in Alan Wake 2. Some puzzle I can actually solve it about maybe 30 or 40% of them, but the rest, like the part where you need to enter the password to unlock the security room, are just straight up frustrating. The dates are in European format, not American, so the day comes first, not the month? Dude, how am I supposed to know that? My school didn't even teach any of that at all. I have no shame in admitting that I had to use Google to literally find the answer so that I can solve it. Look, you can all boo me all you want, I don't care anymore. At least the cold stash puzzle are more on my level. I understand they wanted to improve the experience, but come on, at least add a button to skip the puzzle, or maybe provide more hints. Personally, I hate hard puzzles that require too much thinking to get through it. I really hate them from the bottom of my heart, I'm not kidding. This game is heavy, and I mean really heavy. Look, it's run great when I'm not recording anything at all, but as soon as I start recording, my laptop struggled to maintain a stable 60 FPS. It's like it's fighting a World War III just to let me play it smoothly. I've got a RTX 360, 16GB of RAM, and a good CPU. I understand they wanted the game to look great, but damn, I really wish they had optimizing it more. There are plenty of games that look just as good, like Devil May Cry 5 or even Like a Dragon 2. And dude, they are better optimized than most recent AAA game nowadays. And that's all the negative parts about the game for me. Nothing more to it. To me, Alan Wake 2 isn't just a typical survival horror game. I treat it more like a beautiful piece of art you'll find in a museum. Sure, it has some flaws here and there, but those minor issues don't take away just how incredible the game is. It's absolutely breathtaking and creative, with an amazing atmosphere, stunning aesthetics, and a unique style that truly set it apart. The storytelling is brilliant, actually crafted to pull you into the experience and make everything feel immersive. Every detail feels intentional, from the character to the world building. Despite any technical problem, the overall experience is one of the most memorable I have in gaming. The gameplay may be simple, but it complements the story perfectly, enhance the narrative rather than overshadowing it. It's not just a game, it's a work of art that you can appreciate and admire for. Even if not everything is perfect, it's just like a beautifully crafted masterpiece itself. Thank you for watching. It's been a long week for me. I was supposed to finish this sooner, but I got caught up playing RE4 Remake, and it was so damn fun, not gonna lie. There will be more videos for this new series I've started, but for now, I need to focus on my life. Especially college. I need to study coding, so new video may take some time to make. I'm also still getting used to the new video editing program I'm using for these videos, since the old one I used for is now so outdated it keeps crashing and kind of make me frustrating. It'll take some time for me to get a hang of the basics. I hope this video doesn't obsess anyone with my opinions, because at the end of the day, it's just a stupid opinion of mine and shouldn't be taken too seriously. I hope you stick around though, because I have a lot of video planned whenever I feel like to or having free times. Hope you all have a great day and remember to keep moving forward. See ya.